When is the last time you actually felt good about your life? Not just moving through the motions, not just functioning, not just operating, but really feeling good in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, in your life. When's the last time? Well, I'm Erica Prevell. I'm a lifestyle strategist and author, and I'm here with my good girlfriend, Dr. Braham. And we are going to be bringing you into our world and into our work with some good girlfriend talk about health, about wellness, about stress, and how all of this impacts your life.
Okay.
So, yes, we do this work every single day, but before we get into the work of it all, we have actually also lived these lives, and that's why we're so deeply passionate about this work because we
Definitely.
had to bring ourselves out of some very difficult times, and it really made an impact, a life altering impact
Most
to both of
definitely.
our lives. So, we're going to just talk a little bit about both of our burnout stories. So, my burnout story started in, I would say, 2019 is when I started having symptoms, but I kind of just brushed it to the side. I was in a corporate healthcare leadership role. Fast forward 2 years because I was really experiencing a lot of weight gain, severe chronic stress, overwork,
It sounds too familiar, to be honest.
brain fog, all of the things for
Yeah.
2 years, when I look back on that time. So in 2022, I just hit a wall and I was like, can't do
That's
this,
it.
can't live my life like this anymore. And I left my corporate six-figure job, and everyone thought I was crazy. And I took a nearly 1 year sabbatical to really heal, get clear on how I wanted this next season of my
Yeah.
life to look, how I wanted this next season of the work that I would do would look, and just slap myself in the face and give myself a wake up call
Right.
because during the time I really didn't have any support outside of my physicians, like medical doctors. Of course, I had my therapist, I had my doctor,
Yes, yes.
but I didn't have a friend, a family member. I didn't have a
Yeah.
mentor. I didn't see
Yeah.
anyone on the internet. I mean, I'm sure people were talking about burnout and talking about leaving a job and
Yeah.
redesigning your life, but I didn't see anyone. So I really felt like I had to go through it on my own. And this is why I have these type of conversations on my channel today and why we wanted to have this conversation today. But
That was very bold.
yes, it was. But like I said, girl, people, they was talking about me like a dog, girl. Like
Wow.
they thought, yeah, like I was
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Probably thought I was on my way to a mental institution, whatever that looked like. But I had to choose
Yeah.
myself.
You know how you felt.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what leads my life today, health and wellness. That's what leads my work today.
Yeah.
But I know you had a similar situation. So just tell me a little bit about what was your turning point.
Definitely. First of all, I commend you on recognizing what was going on, and you did not compromise yourself and your mental
Yeah.
health for a job,
Yeah.
right? So, when you were talking about your symptoms, I felt very similar things. So, my burnout story begins once I left residency. So, finally done with school, right? Now you're like, oh, I'm going to start my big girl
Right.
job. I got into a position where I thought this was going to be my forever job. I
Yeah.
was so excited about it. I felt confident and ready. But a year into my first job, I started feeling similar symptoms as you. Like I had the weight gain, I had joint pain. So I see 65 and older, right, in
Mm-hmm.
this first job, and I literally had similar symptoms to them. I could barely get up out of my
Mm-hmm.
chair. I was feeling so fatigued, so run down, and I just couldn't do it. Unfortunately, my burnout story ended when I had a mental breakdown on my way to work, and I was like, I can't do it. So without like having another job lined up, without having really thought through the process, like did I save enough? I was like, I have to go. I have to go. I did have the support from my family, which I appreciate, but they were like, "Are you sure?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it wasn't like, make sure you can handle this decision. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make it. So, yeah, that was my story. It was a tough one. Realizing that, man, I just felt that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't resilient enough. So that was a lot of, like, I would say demons I was struggling with in making my decision, like during that burnout.
Yeah, let's stay there for just a moment.
Yeah.
I think that's important because I didn't tell anyone. I told my best friend and I told my mom at the time that I was going to leave, because those two people felt the safest for me to share.
Yeah.
And I knew that they would not judge or be like, girl, like you said, are you sure?
Right.
Later on, fast forward, I found out my mom had experienced burnout too, and so did my aunt, but of course they didn't have that language back then.
Right.
But I just wanted to stay there because what you just said just rang a bell around what internally you were feeling. And for me internally, I felt as if like a failure, or like you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt a little bit rebellious, like I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I could see the future to be like, if I feel like this right now, and if I stay here,
Right.
it's not going to be good.
Detrimental.
It's not going to be good.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt it strong.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Definitely.
So, Julie, you are a doctor, you are a medical provider, internal medicine with a focus on functional medicine, and your patients come to you with a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about what that looks like for you as a doctor when a woman comes to you saying, I'm feeling off. I just don't feel like myself, because that's the word that I used when I went to, because I didn't have the words for it. That's was the word, like I feel off. I don't feel like myself. What are you looking at from your purview as an internal medicine physician with a focus on functional medicine that a normal doctor, just a PCP, may not pay attention to or may not see?
Definitely. So I try to give that woman language for what they're feeling, right? You come in feeling off, but then I run through a bunch of differentials in my head. Like why? Like what could be her cause, right? That she can't pinpoint. So I ask the questions about the day-to-day, the day-to-day life. Like, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up multiple times a night? Are you struggling with inflammation in the joints? Is your heart racing? Are you having issues with your GI system? Are you developing new allergies to foods? It gets very, very specific. And so you can try and narrow things down. In the general scheme, I do order some specific labs. Not all women will have anemia, but even if you don't have anemia, it's still important to look for the storage of iron, so ferritin levels. You can have low iron storage and low iron capacity, which can lead to some low-lying fatigue that you're experiencing. And so also optimizing blood work in that way, right? Looking for deficiencies in vitamins, looking at thyroid function. I also like to look at autoimmune causes, even at the thyroid level. Even if your thyroid, like your TSH and T4 might be normal, if you have antibodies that are present, that increases your risk for having thyroid disease in the future. So with that being said, we can work on this gut situation. There are so many diseases that can occur starting at the gut. So also looking, how can we correct that? How can we optimize how you feel, decrease inflammation, and that can support a healthy thyroid. And the last one is vitamin D. I'm sure we've been seeing more of that on social media. Well, I have been, maybe because I'm in the space, right? But vitamin D is so important. It works at the level of the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. And so if we lack it, and we tend to during the colder months, or not even, it's hot outside, right? We're in Florida. We want to stay inside. It's too hot. It's too hot. This summer is already brutal.
It's hot.
And so we're not getting the vitamin D that we can from outdoors. Not all of us have the most healthy, or let's say whole food diet,
Yeah.
right? We're not eating all the colors of the rainbow, so we become deficient. And this causes fatigue at like a cellular level.
Yeah.
It also affects your immune system. So optimizing that is super important.
Yeah,
So,
and just think of all of that with stress. This is the stress from the workplace, the career,
Definitely.
life, just all of the things, and how stress from a health standpoint can impact you in all these different ways. So what does stress actually do to the physical body? Like, how does it show up in labs or show up in symptoms? Maybe you can
Right.
share a little bit. You did already, like the way that chronic stress, because there is a difference between chronic stress and acute stress, how those symptoms presented in you and how some symptoms may present in women that come to you.
Right. So good point about, let's break down the acute stress versus chronic stress.
Yes, because there is a difference.
Yes, there definitely is. And I'm sure we've all experienced it,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing wrong with stress.
Yeah.
We need stress. We need it in the sense of having purpose and feeling accomplished, right?
And protection.
And definitely protection, that fight or flight,
yeah.
right? So stress is needed, but in timed bursts, I would say, right? So getting back to the cellular level, the mitochondria always produces oxidative stress. Think of it as like the engine in the car and the exhaust, right? The exhaust that eliminates waste. So, but the engine runs, right? That's the energy, well, the battery, but it's all a part of it, right? So when it comes to the mitochondria, we're always releasing oxidative stress, which causes inflammation, leads to chronic disease, right? So that tends to kick in once we get into that chronic level stress, when you start having symptoms of burnout, like we talked about. And it shows up differently for everybody.
Right.
But it can be that brain fog, that physical fatigue, the panic attacks that start to come out of nowhere, the IBS when you've never had IBS, the inflammation, you just feel it, you just feel achy all the time, right? Those things is what I would say crosses that line into chronic stress, and that's just a sustained stress. And
for a longer period of time.
100%.
It's not the flat tire when you're going to work and you're stressed. That's acute stress. You know that's going to be over.
That's an ending. Like an acute stress has an ending point. Correct. Right? It has a short time, but it's like finishing that essay in college, or doing
or that big project
education.
We're working on at work.
Exactly.
You know the project has a due date or end date.
And you feel that stress, but it's done, and then those feelings dissipate. But it's when we ignore the signs.
There's no ending.
Right. There's no ending. You have this full-time job, you have responsibilities, and you're not setting the boundaries to protect your peace, to protect your health. So now you're running on fumes. That mitochondria is building up. Like, this stress causes even more oxidative stress, more damage on our powerhouse of ourselves. So more waste and exhaust is coming out. So we are going to feel tired. We are going to feel exhausted. And, it can manifest differently for everyone in our symptoms.
Yeah. I guess even though it can manifest differently, and I completely understand that, I guess what are some, I don't want to say common, but what are some ways that it shows up that women have shared with you before?
A lot of times it's the weight gain. A lot of people come in saying, again, I feel off. I just feel tired. Let's check my sex hormones, right? They kind of always go to that.
Really?
Like, what's that's the newest thing I've been hearing lately. Yeah. What do my hormones look like? But they tend to kind of be more narrow focused to the sex hormones, the estrogen, the progesterone, testosterone.
Yeah.
But your thyroid is so important, right? Your insulin levels are important. High sugar levels cause fatigue and damage you at a cellular level as well. So the main symptoms is just feeling just physically unwell, worn out.
Not like yourself.
And hard to lose this weight. Yeah. Very hard.
That's interesting because I gained 60 pounds during my burnout.
Right.
And at the time, I talk about it in my book, Release and Renew. but I just chopped it up to it's just a part of getting older. There
Yeah.
was no connection in my mind that this weight gain was due to
was
that
stress.
chronic stress.
Yeah,
Of course, I know
definitely.
that now, but at the time, I was just, oh, I'm getting older, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But when it comes to weight gain, is there a connection between not resting and weight gain that has nothing to do with your diet?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Sometimes I feel like biology is unfair a little bit because we've all, like, as working ladies, we've all had sleepless nights, right? We've all had deadlines where we're up late. And so our sleep gets compromised, right? So I'm sure all of us have been there. But what happens is when sleep is compromised, if we get less than our nightly recommended, less than 7 hours of sleep, there's a hormone in the stomach that gets released called ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone. And it literally exponentially increases. So throughout the day, you kind of have this insatiable hunger where you're snacking throughout the day. And it's not about willpower. It's a hormone imbalance that has occurred because of lack of sleep. So sleep is definitely a part of my wellness protocol with all of my patients.
And I'm sure your assessment process as well.
Most definitely. It's so important. And once this ghrelin gets elevated and you're snacking more, the weight gain starts, and our fat cells has so many inflammatory hormones that are released as well. So it turns into this cycle. So sleep is so important, and it's not always willpower. So
Yeah. I want to ask you, when should a woman go see her medical provider? At what point? Because a lot of women, especially us ambitious, capable, responsible women, we're used to the push through, baby. One thing we're going to do is push through.
Definitely.
So when would you say a woman should go see her medical provider? At what point? If this is just a month of her feeling like not like herself, or at the first time she feels it, like when should she go see her medical provider?
Well, first, I always recommend an annual, right?
Yeah.
Even if you feel okay. I think it's so important to get baseline labs, see things that are how things are trending, catch things before it becomes a chronic issue. There's so many things that are preventable, right? I would say, just looking back, because I'm rather stubborn. It took me a few months before I decided to go to my doctor and say, hey, we need to do some
But that's why we're
labs.
having these conversations, so other women won't have to suffer the way we did. So it's like, when should she go,
Yeah. Honestly, I would say there is a level of fatigue that happens because you're up working and you went through your day and you're tired, so you have to go to bed.
Yeah.
But when it becomes like, wow, this profound fatigue and this just unshakable type fatigue, and you just feel it in like systemically.
Yeah, that's not normal.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
That's not normal. I think you should go see a professional. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good. And if you could give one takeaway from everything you just said, or two, or, what would you leave this woman with?
I would definitely say prioritize sleep, right? Sleep is extremely important because it just helps regulate you as a whole person. You can handle more difficult tasks during the day. You are able to be more at ease when you're more rested, right? You're snacking less because these hormones aren't going through the roof, and now your willpower can't shake you. You're getting restored. You're eliminating wastes and toxins from the body during sleep. So that would be a huge takeaway. Definitely. It definitely is one of the foundations and a basic that we should not look at as, okay, when the weekend comes, I'm going to make up on my sleep. It needs to be something that we do intentionally every night, or work on a routine that can get you there, because I myself struggle with sleep. So it's something that I have to work on. Like I have to treat it as like some special time, like
Yeah.
a luxury, like
Like
I
you
have
said, a priority.
It's a priority, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So we got to talk about you now, girl.
Yeah, so after they have come to their medical provider and got everything sorted out health-wise,
Definitely.
and then they are feeling better
Yes.
overall, but again, this was from my lived experience. Once I started feeling better, thinking more clearly, I still look around and like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my work comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's so important because not just the medical side, but what you do on the day to day when you're not in the clinician's office, right?
Correct.
So you have so much that you can let us know about. So, what is lifestyle design or redesign, and how does your work support women?
Yeah, so just simply put, lifestyle design is intentionally the work of intentionally creating a life that you desire based on your goals,
Yeah.
your values,
Yeah.
your desires.
I like that.
Versus what society told us, what our mamas told us,
Yeah.
what our grandparents told us, and really building a life around what values us. And it's different from life coaching. I know people kind of have heard of life coaching before,
Yeah.
but as a lifestyle strategist, so it differs because a life coach looks at the overall picture. When lifestyle strategists or lifestyle designs, it can be in different areas. You can have it in finances, in your diet. It can be in your day to day. But it's as a lifestyle strategist, I take a actionable, tactile approach to helping you build your goals towards the life you desire. And
Right,
specifically, the women I work with are women like we are, like
Yeah.
the women that I was and didn't have any help. So it's the corporate professionals,
Yeah.
the ambitious, the capable, responsible women, the women who know how to get things done, the women who do everything for everyone else and always forget about themselves. Those are the women that I work with. Again, the women who aren't in crisis anymore. They've gone to their medical providers and they've gotten a hold of their health. So they're not in crisis anymore, but they're in a space of like, okay, I know I can't go back to that life that I left.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to move forward? And I created my own personal framework called the 4 life layers. So it looks at 4 specific layers, not in any particular order. But when the woman comes to me, some women know exactly what they need to work on or what they want to work on, and some of them don't. So I have a series of questions that will help assess the area that they need to look at first. But one of the life layers specifically is time, energy, and capacity, because we are just so used to using our time and energy on everything else and not really looking at how our time and energy impacts us.
Definitely.
Next layer is boundaries and access. And I know a lot of talk is out on the internet about boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's not about, blocking people off or a no people zone or anything like that. It's about, again, what does using your time in a way that helps you move your goals, your desires,
because we only have this one life.
yeah,
we gotta
this
make
one
it
life
matter,
to
make it
live.
count.
So we really have to look at that and find sustainable ways to not be as accessible, to everyone, because we ambitious women have a very difficult time of, and especially women with no children. My woman is normally a woman without children, or her children are grown and out of the house. She's in a place where she can truly prioritize herself, but she's still giving her time to family, to friends, to work, to everything else. The next layer is ambition and direction. Again, I am here for the ambitious women. And I talk about ambition a lot on my channel, and not because it's something, again, that I had to do, and not in a means of throwing my ambition away, but resetting it in a way that worked for me. So not allowing your big career goals or your big life goals to run you ragged.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you have to reset. And again, I'm never about throwing your ambition away. Even in my life today, I'm still a very ambitious woman, but I've learned to reset it in a way that looks for me. So that's a life layer that we also look at. And then last but not least, because it's not in any particular order, but creativity, joy, and living well.
Yes.
Because what I know and what I have observed in myself and other women is we are deeply creative. And we're not using that in a way to fill us up. We use applied creativity every single day. And I know when people think about creativity, they automatically go to artistic creativity, but we're using applied creativity every day in the way that we problem solve, in the way that we negotiate, in the way that we lead, in the way that we manage. And that is using our creativity, because simply put, creativity, applied creativity, is just using your imagination to solve real life problems.
Very true.
And we're doing that every day.
I like that perspective.
Every
a
single
lot.
day.
Yeah.
So when we're pouring, because we're ambitious, from that cup and not giving ourselves something back, we need to be tapping back into our creativity as a form of joy, as a form of rest, as a form of personal expression. And living well encompasses rest, because I talk about rest in my work as well. So those are my 4 life layers, and just a scope of what lifestyle redesign really is.
I love it. Definitely layer 4 speaks to me best right now. Being ambitious, I just feel like you're so, especially in the career that I'm in, you're so focused, you have so much responsibility that it's like, where's the jokes, where's the laughs, when do I hang out, when do I touch base with the family, and when do you have fun?
Right.
You have fun.
I recently did a video about that. I said it's like, even our fun has become a strategy. And you wonder why you're exhausted. Like we have to get better. We have
to get better. We have to.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, what does rest actually mean for women that you work with?
So again, I talk about rest a lot on my channel, and rest was just transformative for me, particularly when I found out that there was just not one type of rest.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, there are 7 different types of rest.
Wow.
And they are based on Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith's work. She created these 7 types of rest. And if they are physical rest, emotional rest, mental rest, spiritual rest, sensory rest, social rest, and creative rest.
Okay.
So 7 different types of rest. And I introduce women to these 7 types of rest, first of all, because oftentimes they're not aware that.
We didn't even know that.
No, there's 7 types of rest. And again, the rest that I specifically like to focus on is creative rest, because we are using, and I'm just trying to get women to understand too how much we're using our creativity in our careers every single day. And when you pour from that cup and you're not filling it back up, that adds to the exhaustion.
100%.
That adds to the overwork. That adds to everything that we're doing that not feels like ourselves. So creative rest is just really stepping away from the problem solving, stepping away from the overwork, and really just pouring back into yourself from a sense of play, of wonder, of awe, of expression.
Because I've been through this decision-making fatigue. It's like, I've already made enough decisions for the day. Like, why do I come home and there's more decisions? When is it time that I'm having fun? I'm doing something out of the routine,
Yeah, and I do workshops specifically on this for women, because that's another thing when ambitious women want to be creative. Like they want to, they sit down and they do some type of, let's say, painting or whatever it is that they like to do, then automatically they're overthinking about perfection or how can I make this better? And that's the
yes, I'm guilty.
That is the last thing. That is not the point of creative rest. That is not the point. It's really about just sitting there and letting it be a form of play. Like removing the expectations, removing the productivity, the execution. Again, this is supposed to be a form of restoration.
Right.
Yeah.
So out of all of the 7, do we have to do each 7 types of rest to feel whole?
I think ultimately, yes, but there are, of course, seasons in our lives where you need
Yeah,
more
fair.
of one than the other. And I have a little mini quiz that I do also with women that kind of you answer a series of questions and you can kind of see which one you need the most. But yeah, I think at every point in your life you're going to need all of those types of rest to feel whole. And again, just needing some more than others. Like for example, again, I know I keep saying this, but I'm a creative in my 9-to-5 job, and I'm a creative in my business. So I'm pouring out a lot of creative energy for work. So I am deeply connected to creative rest. Like, and again, not in a place to be good at it. And I say hobbies. Women need more hobbies. And I'm saying hobbies for the general public because I don't really call them hobbies.
Okay.
I call them creative wellness practices.
Okay.
Because if you're not careful, a hobby, again, will turn into something you're trying to master, you're trying to become an expert at, you're YouTubing videos on the perfect techniques or what. Gosh. And that's not the point. The point is for it to be restorative to you in some way. If it makes you happy, if it makes you joyful, if it makes you rest, ease, whatever it is. Not to be the next Picasso.
Right. You know? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be monetizable. It doesn't have to be for the public.
There you have it.
It's just
for you.
For me.
For you.
I like that.
For you.
All right. So tell me, what's one thing you want women to know?
What I want women to know is that a small start is still a start.
I like it.
Because again, for women like us, who are ambitious, who are capable, who are responsible, who are used to getting everything done.
Yeah.
We want to get everything done.
We do.
We want to get it done now.
To-do list. Check. I need to see my to-do list.
And not just get it done now. Yeah. I don't want to get it done right now. You want to go from A to Z in 2 minutes.
True.
But a small start is still a start. When we do talk about lifestyle redesign, and I redesigned my life into this life that I live now, it's not overnight.
Yeah.
A small start is still a start. All the things that we talked about, find that one area where you know you need the most help, the most support, that needs the most attention right now.
Yeah.
And start there. A small start is still a start.
I love that.
Yeah.
I agree. Brick by brick, right? Even getting to this point today, it took a time. It took a while. So.
I'm 4 years post burnout, and you're
2 years post burnout.
So,
wow.
It does.
I'm in a different space. Like, I'm glad that, like you said, the brick by brick, the little by little start somewhere. I'm glad that I decided to leave the toxic job.
So after this isn't a part of our script, so because girl, we doing girlfriend talk, remember? So after you started feeling better, where did you start? Where was the place that you started?
I had to start with rest.
Okay.
I had to start with rest because I was just so inflamed. Like, I could barely move. So I had to look for ways that would decrease my inflammation. And it was sleep, right? So I basically took 3 months. It actually went to like 4 months. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a job. but
you needed that time.
I
took 10 months, so almost a year.
Man, I wish I could. I wish I did. Yeah. But I was able to sleep. I left the country and I slept and I was on the beach, and that really helped. That helped a lot. Then the next thing I did, I was like, all right, I got to check out these labs though. Like, is my thyroid okay? Yeah. Is like, am I anemic? Because I struggle with stuff like that. So I was anemic, got my iron levels up. I had to get infusions actually. That's how bad my iron was. I actually had ulcers from this job, girl. Wow. Yeah. So
that chronic
stress. So acute stress is not going to give you no ulcers. No, right. So I'm glad I left when I did. So I was able to then take care of myself, get my body built up again with the necessary vitamins I needed, the nourishment, the sleep, and I'm going to share where I started, but I also think this is important too, that we're not advocating for people to leave your jobs. You have to make that decision 100%. For you. That was the decision that both of us had to make to get better and to move our lives forward. But you have to figure out what works for you in the season of life that you in. It might be leaving your job. It might not be. But I just wanted to put that in there. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It is a part of our
Yes,
stories,
right.
but it doesn't
Yes.
mean that that's,
Exactly.
the way you have to go.
Right.
After I started feeling better, so after, the doctors and all that stuff, of course, I started with creativity.
Yeah.
I started a blog. I got back into style and fashion. That really just lit me up again. It's just like, I just needed that. I've always been a creative, and like when you get in your career and stuff, all of that stuff just goes to the wayside.
It does.
But I started, that was the first step. And then the second step was, like you said, we have to go back to work. So I got extremely clear, like down to the granular level on not only what I wanted the next job to look like, but what I wanted it to feel like.
Yeah,
And
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
During my time off, I started a business. So it's like, I don't even know. It's like, do you even know how to rest, girl?
Yeah.
Right? But during the journey of like getting back to myself and the investigations of like what's really happening to me, I really fell into functional medicine, right?
Yeah.
Finding out more about, we learned biochemistry in school.
Yeah.
But just
getting to the root.
Yeah, getting to the root and like actually applying all of those carbon and oxygen molecules. Like, getting to what is necessary to improve your life, or getting to the root cause and then getting that fix,
Listen, we're both Jesus girls here. Yeah. And what the scriptures say, you will know a tree by its fruit.
Yes.
But we also have to look at the root of that tree.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So, that's where that stemmed from. Was that around the time that we started Bible study? I forget too. I forget when we started Bible study.
Yeah. But the funny thing is how we met is that I met her like while on the other side of my burnout. I was on my sabbatical, and that's where we met and we clicked. And I think you were in the season of your burnout, or
I don't even think I realized it
at the time.
Yeah, I was just starting the job.
But I remember how much you were saying how you felt, like how tired and exhausted you felt.
Yeah.
And we've been good girlfriends ever since.
Yes.
Okay. So before we get out of here, we had such a great conversation today.
I love this.
We really, and if this is something that you guys are enjoying, let us know down in the comments. Ask us any questions down in the comments. Ask Dr. Braham any questions. Ask myself any questions. Give this video a like.
Yes.
Subscribe to my channel and hers if you have not already. But before we get out of here, I want you to if a woman wants to know more about your services or what you offer or how to get in touch with you, let them know.
Yes. So I run a virtual telehealth company called Kiwi Med. You can find me at kiwimed.com, and we'll also put my Instagram handle here.
All in the description box below.
Yes. So I really focus on looking at the woman holistically, doing different advanced testing to see what's going on with the gut, and also looking at what lifestyle changes that we can make to help improve your health, which runs beautifully into what my dear friend Erica does as well. But, she can tackle it at a different angle, which I believe is so complementary to really helping women on a whole, right? Yeah. It's not just one thing. Right. It's very holistic. Yes, you can find me there. And also, I do have a newsletter that I send out some tips about health every month. So feel free to join that as well.
Yes, join the newsletter. Yes. And you can find me. My website is ericaprevell.com, Lifestyle Strategist. Currently, I have a digital product called the Ambition Reset. Again, it's something that I went through, and it's going to help you because while we both talk about rest, and rest is so important, you can't just rest your way out of exhaustion. Rest is complementary. Yeah. You can't just rest your way out. You have to interrupt some of those patterns, those beliefs that we have. Yeah. And that's what the Ambition Reset helps you do. And after you finish the Ambition Reset, there's also strategy sessions with me to work one-on-one together. I'm also going to be doing some workshops very soon, some creative guided workshops for ambitious women. Again, not to be an artist, not to be perfect, not to perform, but to pour back into yourself. So join my newsletter as well. It's called the Easeful Ambition Collective. And like we said, all of the information is down in the description box below.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Be blessed.
Be well. Bye.